All right, guys. Good to see you guys. Welcome to the Ivy League live stream. I'm going to go through a couple levels here. Kind of rush things a little bit. All right, we got sound. Hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. We're going to go through a lot of levels. I'm going to tell you guys some of my top trade ideas. All right, and the point that I want to get across to you guys for anybody that's new. There is a reason why I come on here and I do what I do. It's not just to give you guys levels and tell you guys some of the trade ideas that I'm looking at, but I really want you guys to start getting smart with the markets, okay? So thank you for joining us. The camera may or may not shut off. All right, we'll find out. If you could, hit that like button. Subscribe. We're on our way to 1,000. Let's just get that ass to 1,000 subscribers and get it over with, and we'll be good to go. I appreciate you guys, again, not only for joining us tonight, but trying to better yourself. All right, you're playing in the game. At least you're in the game. You're in the game. You know how many people aren't in the game? Okay? People aren't in the game because, one, they may not know it exists. Two, they don't understand the impact that it can have on their lives. So the impact that it could have on yours is all on the education that you get. So we're going to get right into it. Hit that like button. Subscribe. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers, guys. If you have a friend or somebody that would like to see this, send it over to them. Share it with them. Again, hit that like button, subscribe. Let's get right into it. So this week is a little bit boring. All right, we have the normal. We have Fed minutes, and we have initial jobless claims, and then you do start to get some data on Thursday. We got a lot. We have a few Fed speakers. Thursday, you get some. You have a little bit going on here. I'm not really worried about more so what is going on with the data. All right. Fed minutes, we again, if you guys don't know, the Fed minutes are notes that were taken from the last Fed meeting, and we already know what's going on. Now, again, if there's something in those Fed minutes that the market doesn't like, which is, whether it be some of the other Fed members and what it is that they wrote down, or, some of the things that they said. Again, this is notes from the last meeting. I was wanting to turn this TV down real quick, but if it's too loud, you guys let me know. Here we go. All right, so there's a lot of awesome stocks this week that I'm going to be watching. All right, don't lull yourself this week. Listen to me. Like, seriously, listen to me. We ended Friday with some nice volatility. Now, if you don't go back, not just going back through your trades and how you did, but identify what days that you've been doing really well at. Take note of them and understand those and start, don't force yourself. You say, oh, the past 3 Mondays I've been doing really well. Let me just step on the pedal. No, unless the setup's there. But just identify, okay, you know what? These are the days that I'm doing really well. These are the days that I aren't. It may not be necessarily you, but it could be the markets. Okay? Mondays have been pretty nice. Fridays have been nice. Thursdays have been pretty nice. We've been kind of like... We're just getting into earnings, and that's what we're going to touch on too. Is you can't forget about retail. You have Walmart, you have Home Depot. You're going to get Target. All right, you're going to start getting some of these retail names. There's still some good companies, and the obvious Nvidia. Okay, Nvidia is going to be a market mover. That's probably the biggest catalyst this week. For me, it's going to be retail reporting. Retail, like again, Walmart, they report in the morning. Home Depot reports in the morning. But NVIDIA, they report, I think, Tuesday afternoon, okay? So let's go into the charts. We had a great day Friday. If you don't know, we trade live Monday through Friday right here, 7:30 to 4. We come in, we get our game plan, we identify where do we want to be that day, all right? Where are we a buyer? Where are we shorting? Where are we grabbing puts, calls, whatever the case? Are we in small caps, mid caps, large caps? Where are we? Now I'm going to go through some of the things again, from, kind of from last week, but not really. So let's go right into the charts, guys. And if you guys have any questions, throw them in the chat. I'd be happy to answer them. If you have tickers that you guys want to go over, throw them in the chat. We'll cover them as well. We had a nice little sell-off Friday, which was nice. All right. I told you guys that the S&Ps last week were starting to put in a double top. All right. Listen, I have to say this. We all ate Friday. We were done by like 11:30, 10:30. I mean, it might have even been 10. All right, I was exhausted. Fortunate enough, I had AMD puts just under 100%. They went to a little bit over 100%. Wait, listen, you got to join us. We identified that $80 level. We're short. Okay, if it breaks and the market's pulling back, the market was kind of sitting still. Chances are until the market starts getting a lift, you're gonna have AMD is gonna need the market behind it because that's a big level. So I took puts right off of that $80 level on AMD. That was my trade last week, and February is getting ready to start being positive. I had a huge January. Month of January was really good to me. All right, so we're going to cover AMD. We're going to cover NVIDIA. I'll probably wait till tomorrow to really go in depth on NVIDIA's earnings as far as what they're expecting and all that stuff. So again, join us live Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 4 right here on this channel, and that is Eastern Standard Time. All right, about 2 hours before the market opens to leave us enough time. So futures, we'll go right into futures. And again, I don't know, Bloomberg. I don't know if there's been any type of major news. There are a few other names too, like Barclays. I'm wanting to watch Barclays and stuff. I've been looking at the credit spreads for Barclays, HSBC. They're also reporting, and I'm just waiting. We're not seeing anything yet, but I am waiting because, guys, I think banking sector could be a nice short side call in due time. We start lowering rates. We get out of this bank term lending program. The liquidity starts to subside. And then we'll really see how these banks start to do and coinciding with rates. Okay, it's an idea. It may not even work out. But I'm telling you guys right now, you're the first to hear it, whoever's here. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to be later, probably going into 2025. I'm going to be looking to get short banks. I'm going to see if we can just get a nice pullback on banks. For now, we're long. That program starts to come to an end the 1st of March. Not starts to, it does. It comes to an end. There's a lot I could go over, but I'm just going to stick to charts, guys. So the ES is a bit flat. It is pulling back off of this level now. I guess we could kind of say the market's officially opened. Okay, it was, futures were open today. So we are pulling back, trying to test Friday's lows. All right, what I'm going to look for on the S&Ps and the SPY, all right, is if we start to hang out at the, let me go to the daily chart real quick for you. And again, if you guys could, please hit that like button, subscribe. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers and get it over with so I can do this giveaway. You're putting in a bit of a double top here, and we mentioned this last week. All right, we had some really nice trades last week, right? We called out, you could have been long Tesla Wednesday. You could have been, I have been saying, if you're new to this channel, I have been looking for an inverse head and shoulders on Tesla, and that's exactly what we got. Well before that right shoulder was put in, that 84 level, which I'm going to cover in a little bit, was our key get long, and look what happened. And we got that extension right through that neckline on Tesla. So with increase in volume, all that fun stuff. So you're putting in a bit of a double top here on the S&Ps. I want to watch Friday's low, all right, and where we open at tomorrow. Because if we start to open below Friday's low, and we cannot break above Friday's low, all right, you got a pretty clear level here at around 498. All right, that 498 level on the SPY, you may not break it the first try. Let's just say if we do, what are we going to do? We're going to look to walk the markets down. This is the lesson I want to get into. And I'm telling you right now, start taking it serious. If you're just losing money and you're just break even and you just feel like you can't get ahead, identify. And we're going to go deeper into this. I'm telling you, for anybody, this is going to be a great video for anybody that's new. Again, if you guys like this video and subscribe, this is going to help someone see this that may be a beginner, and you're going to help them out, because I'm going to get right into what can separate you from getting your account green. All right, but it's up to you to execute, and you have to identify market changes. But as long as you do some of these things and get an understanding of what I'm going to tell you, you're going to be able to benefit yourself. I'm going to do it right now. And then we're going into charts. Identify where the buyers and sellers are. That's it. Okay, that is it. Identify where are we buying, where are the buyers, and where are the sellers. Well, right now, I can tell you right now for a fact, 492, 490 level, there's buyers. We have buyers here at like what, 496.50 to 495. Will we get buyers at 498? What is this? We are stepping it up, right? Buyers are stepping up. Sellers are not stepping down. Okay? I feel like we could start to put in a consolidation, but if you identify where are the sellers and where are the buyers, and you execute according to that, and if you take notice, okay, the buyers are stepping up. Now, are the sellers going to start stepping down? You don't anticipate it. You wait for the chart to show you. We don't have, if you guys look here, you don't have buyers at 498. So 498 is a level we could say, hey, these sellers that were here, what, a week and a half ago, right? From 498 to 498.60, 60-cent area. All right. The buyers didn't step in really until 499. You had it. Look, I'm sorry. You did have a little area right there where you came down and it tested it. That was it. The market needs more than that, right? You can't have a whole, you have to look at, I look at it like this. You can't have a whole bunch of price action trading above a little area, and it feels like, to me, it's just hanging on that one wick. And if it gets too heavy, it starts to tip over and the market will reverse and retest that level to say, hey, are there buyers still there? Okay, are the buyers still there? So, again, I have just showed you that buyers are stepping up. As of now, buyers are stepping up. We did put in our first lower high. So that's telling me Friday, sellers stepped down. Where did they step down from? They stepped down from 403.35 or 503.35. And then they stepped back in at 503.25. Very minimal. Nothing to say, hey. But in the action in which they stepped down in, they sent this market to the downside. Either we did not have enough buyers to keep it up, or there were just too many sellers. And you can look at that and identify it through the buying and selling volume down below. Okay, you want to, this is for beginners. Again, I could get real depth with indicators and really painting the picture, but this is just keep it simple, and it'll be the best thing for your account if you can execute correctly. Because here's the other part to this. The other part to this is, if you say, I'm going to wait until 503 breaks on the SPY to get long, well, guess what? You're going to pay, if I get long down here at 496, and you're going to wait till, I don't know, 498, we'll say. Well, I've just paid cheaper price, and I have a smaller area to let me know that I'm wrong. What do you have? If you're a buyer at 498, you're technically not wrong until you crack 496. So that's $2 versus me, where I'm, let's just say 495, 496 I buy it, and then I know that I'm going to be wrong if I don't get there, and that's 496 to, we'll just call it 495. That's $1, 60 cents, not even. So buying right is the key. This is why a lot of times you guys see me get frustrated when I miss a trade and I let it go, because one, if it's really strong, it'll give me another opportunity to get in. Okay, whether it's the next day, same day, whatever. But second, I know that I need to execute at that price, because I'm not only going to be paying more, but now if it reverses, I have to sit in that trade, okay? And now I have to start worrying like, okay, am I going to get emotional? Did I buy too high and now I have to sit through this? What if there's a consolidation? Those things start to run through my mind. So in order for me to eliminate that, what do? I execute right at the price that I want to be a buyer. If it gets there, I buy into weakness. I sell into strength. All right? You guys know, anybody that's new here, you know I'm a stickler for buying right. You know I am. Okay? You know how big I am and how much that means to me, that I need to be buying, and if I'm shorting, right? I need to short correctly. I need to buy correctly. Because if I don't, that's how the game starts to get to you. Okay, that's how you start losing your upper hand and the advantage that you have to be profitable, right? The advantage of the market is if you buy right and pay a lower price, and you're working with an area to take your loss at a minimal area. If you've identified, really understanding the identification of where those buyers are and where those sellers are, you have to first learn that, right? So, but keeping it simple, if you understand where did the market leave that level from, and where, even for the downside, where did it start to sell off from? Okay, that doesn't mean you have to wait for it to get all the way back up there to get short, Because what if it puts in that lower high, and then you're like, okay, now I'm starting to see that the sellers are stepping down, the buyers are stepping up. Which is it? Or are we just in a big consolidation in a range? Okay, so the other part to this, all right, I told you guys Friday morning, if you were here joining us, again, if you're just joining us now, let us know if you're new, if you have any questions. It would be awesome to hear from you. And if you could, just subscribe. We're getting to 1,000 subscribers. Appreciate you guys. We really do. Again, we're here to try and help, get to those people that don't have the opportunity to just waste and make someone else's life better, and they get no value out of it. So with you coming on here saying, hey, I'm new, I just found this channel, we can connect, and, we can start to get you somewhere on a path to success. So I'm going to be looking for the SPY to say, hey, do we start to see some buyers step in at 498? Okay, if not, where do they step back in at? Where is that area going to be at? All right, if we just start to just test, obviously on the futures we broke Friday's low, so I'm going to wait for that bounce back to Friday's close and say, hey, what are we going to do from here? Are we going to recapture and retake back that down move from Friday? If we do, I'm going to look for intraday walk-ups. All right, which will join us tomorrow. We'll get into that. But the second thing, and I harped on this Friday, understanding what is going on. I'm not going to go too in depth, but the ladies and gents that were here, they knew it. And I told you, I said, if the market is pulling back, chances are it's going to be tech. Tech is going to lead us to the downside. There is a shift going on. All right. And you don't want to be short blue chip names, because they're strong right now. If you want to be long, you want to look to the Dow, possibly the IWM. Okay, you want to look at Dow names that are leading to the upside. All right, and again, it goes into each sector. So if I say I want to short Qs, if I asked you right now, what is the weighting in the Qs? How many of you guys could tell me right now? I guarantee you 80% of you do not know the percentage of how the Qs are weighted. And what does that tell us? Well, let's say 50% of the Qs are communication technology. Then we're going to say, okay, chances are if the Qs are going down, 50% of that weighting is in communication technology. Those are the names we're going to look at. And then we're going to look not only at those names, but which ones are the weakest of those names. Let me show you something. If you go here, you guys can easily Google these things. What do we have here? All right, you have... See, this isn't redone, so you'll have to go find something else. 2/15/2024 as of. Okay, it was last updated 3:21 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's refresh this. 2/15/2024, so not much has changed. Okay. Information technology. Oh, wow, would you look at that? 49.3%. 36 out of 101 holdings. So those 36 names, we want to identify that 49%, and out of that 49%, what is really weak? All right, and then we're going to hang on that if we think the market's pulling back or we're getting that divergence where there is a what they call a I can't even think of it now. We've been saying it all damn week. You're starting to get a divergence. I'll just say that, even though I know what the name is that I'm talking about. I'm just tongue tied right now. It was a busy week. So we'll look at Netflix. Netflix is very strong right now. That's probably not the one we want to look at. AMD, okay, it's lagging NVIDIA. It's lagging the semiconductors. But we know through the earnings that Qualcomm, or really, Taiwan Semiconductors did really well. So we'll go through and we're going to look to see what names are really weak. Texas Instruments, TXN. Let's go look at TXN real quick. Because if we know that that's 50% of the weighting, okay, there's that. Look at Adobe. Look at that. Okay, so we identified weakness, right? The market's up here. And Adobe is down. Obviously, Friday was down there. And we would look for that level here to break, in which it did. And then it extended. So, understand and learn, guys. What are the holdings of the indexes? And look to the indexes for divergence. All right, look for that leadership. Look for the weakness. Okay, and take that into your week this week, guys. Guys, trading is not hard. We make it hard. It's hard when you don't have the education. So this week, Start understanding whether you have to bring up a page, whatever you have to do. Understand what the weightings are. What are those names? How much do they, you don't have to get too technical, but obviously 50%, if not, 60% of this is pretty much technology. Okay. You want to look through some of those names and find out, you're going to start to see the leadership and the weakness. And if the Qs start to pull back, you want to hang on that weakness. And if the Dow's going higher, the IWM's going higher, what are the leaders there? There we go. We got a long, we got a short. That way, if the IWM starts to fall down and the Qs really start going, we can cut that long. We're already in the short. Same for the upside. Okay? Same for the upside. If the Qs start to lead, we'll look for the names that are strong. We'll get into those. Okay, what, like out of ARK, IWM, Dow, SPY, the Qs, which one of those indexes are leading? More than likely, it's going to be the Dow and the IWM. So we'll look to see some of those blue chip names and which one of those names are weak. We're going to get long technology names, and then we're going to look to get short those names. And then, but first, when we do that, once we identify the sector, right, to give us that movement, we're going to look at where the buyers and sellers are. We're going to locate where we need to be a buyer and where we need to be a seller. That's it. Okay, that's it. We can make it very difficult. Join us in the morning. I'll cover more again. If you're new here, say hello. Let us know if this is your first time here, and what are some of the things that we can do to, what are some of the things you're trying to learn or trying to do. So let's go right into it. I spent too much time on that. Bitcoin is putting in a double top up here. It's probably due for a retracement. I was talking to a gentleman, I think last week, where I said, you want to watch and kind of wait for that pullback. You could get long here and it could keep going. The thing is listen, this is, speculation at the end of the day, and you want to use all the tools at your disposal to make the best decision in that speculation. I can't tell you Bitcoin can just continue to go higher and higher and higher and never pull back, or it could pull back. So if you get that pullback, then you look to say, okay, here's where the buyers are. The buyers are obviously sitting down here at 428 or 42,000, 43,000. Do the buyers step up? Okay, do you see buyers start to step in at 47,000? Okay, we located 44,000 as resistance. Let's see if you can get that pullback. And those sellers that were at 44,000, see if they start to turn to buyers. Okay, there's a psychological shift there that happens, that whoever was short, and look at the volume starting to come in. So they were like, okay, this thing's probably overdone. It starts going higher. Then they turn to being buyers again. So once it pulls back, see, this is how I would play it, right? Along with using the indicators. All right. You are getting a little bit of divergence. There will come a time when the strength starts to slow up. But let's go right into the charts. I spent too much time on that. But I think it's important to understand what it is that you're doing and how you're going about your week. It's important, guys. Man, I spent too much time on that. So the S&Ps I just told you, and the indexes, okay? We're looking for the Qs, seeing if the Qs can either start to regain to the upside and start to catch a bid, which is starting to bring in some more buyers, all right, and start leading the way up higher. They led us up here. Are they going to start leading us to the downside? That's what we're going to identify, all right? And obviously we're going to play that with the FOMC minutes and NVIDIA earnings and all that fun stuff. So I'm curious to see if the market kind of just stays in this area here until NVIDIA earnings, or, if there's some kind of other news that starts to come out. We'll have to find out, all right? But I can tell you right now, you are sitting right here at the futures are still just flirting with that Friday's close, guys. It looks like you're trying to turn it into resistance. But you are getting some tails in here. So could we start to regain and kind of just wake up right around where we closed Friday? All right. As far as the overall picture this week, it's all going to depend on earnings. Okay, you have not just NVIDIA, but obviously retail. How's the consumer doing? And we're identifying buyers up here at 503, 502. Okay, so as we start to move up to that area. Again, I think just on the S&Ps, this area right here down to 498 is a bit of a support level or a resistance level that you might not crack on the first try. And you can see you had some buyers step in here Thursday and Friday. Okay, Thursday and Friday, you had some buyers step in there. See if we don't test it again, or if we just make a run right up to 503 area and we can't get through it, then that's where we're going to look to take a short, and that's a trade possibility. So now if we see that, okay, if we see that, then we got to say, okay, well, what are the Qs doing? If we're just going to start running back to that area, okay, if we start running back to that area, I'm going to look at technology names to be long, okay, and look at the Qs. They put in a lower high. They didn't put in a double top. This is like a lower high in my book. But this is a nice support level. We got to look to be a buyer here on the Qs. Me personally, I'm going to look to be a buyer at 430. 430 is the level I want to start to be a buyer and see if we can't bring in enough volume to get us up through that. Now, you'll probably bounce, hit like Wednesday's close, Thursday's open, right? And kind of pull it back, see if you don't hold it at like 430, 250, and then look for that break. If we do not get that break, because you have a small gap there, if you do not break 435 on the Qs, and you're just like sitting there, and you're noticing like, man, this thing is just not getting through that level, chances are we got a little bit more downside that could be coming, all right? You know, but that would be the area, okay? If we don't get through 435 and you know, time is getting eaten off the clock, then I'm going to look to be short up at that area. Okay? Because I'm identifying where the sellers are. It feels like, you know, do the sellers start to give up and we just start climbing higher again? Okay, no problem. Okay? I'm going to know pretty quickly if I'm getting short, you know, up here at like you know, if we look to see how we do up at 435 and then 437, you know, 437 is probably the higher low. I would not be surprised if we get there, okay, unless we get news. Again, news can come out at any time, during the day, at nighttime, whatever. So as of now, we're going to look for this level to start to try and hold. If it doesn't, where are we headed to? Where's the next level? If the buyers do not step in, where are we going? Where are we going? I need to know the destination, folks. Okay, well, looks like we got some more buyers down here at 426. 426. The 426 to where? Where would we say? Yeah, 426 to 425. We'll call it that. All right, you got a couple wick lows there. We'll make that green. So there we go. We have identified where we want to be long, where we want to be short. All right, I want to be short. If this is going to be a lower high, I want to see if we cannot get through 435. Okay, now there's a difference between getting up to 435. Okay, you start to get up there and we start walking each level up. Like we get up there, you hit this, and you're starting to notice that 434 is holding that support, and it's just like, hey, all right, then you wait. Either 435 is going to break to the upside or 434 is going to break to the downside, and you know you got Friday's close there. So if you're trading the indexes, that's how I trade the index, but then I want to look at the stocks. I want to look at what stocks are doing roughly the same thing and have a bit of either. I want to have my strength in the Qs and my weakness in the Qs in case, you know, for both sides of the trade. All right. In conjunction, you know, again, this is a little bit more advanced. I'm going to use this in conjunction with what the Dow and the Qs are doing. So I do have a lot of stuff I want to get to, but that's pretty much the indexes. You know, we got some buyers down here at 430. You know, you do have a little bit of buying pressure here at 430, but not much. I think the market would much rather test 426 and then go higher, right? To see if we put in a lower high, if you know, or do we start to just run right back to 435, 437 area and start to test if those sellers are still there or not, okay? We're going to wait and see where we open up, all right? At least that's what I'm going to do. Again, remember, you have Walmart, Home Depot, you do have some retailers, so you're going to get a glimpse on those names, and that should kind of move the markets, all right? Now, NVIDIA is Tuesday night, tomorrow night, so, you know, it's going to be fun to see how this market reacts going into NVIDIA earnings. All right, so that's the Qs. Again, you already know, if you take notice, look at the Dow. It's hanging out. It's towards the top, right? Look at the IWM. All right, look, it's pretty much sitting up there at highs, roughly, just below highs. So it's putting in a double top, but that double top was a higher, right? This is higher than that previous low, and you remember on the SPY, it was lower, in the Qs it was lower. Again, that's for people that are just learning, and wanting to learn how to do this. So that's that. Let's go into some of the names that we have here. Let's go to the first one. All right, let's go to the first one. It's going to be Apple. All right, Apple is going to be one of the first names. It's just been pretty weak. All right, you can see here, we are starting to hold this level. This was a level I told you guys 2 weeks ago, not last week, but the week before when we had earnings. Hey, we left this level and I need a test. I need us to test this level to tell me whether or not, like, we're going to go higher or not. So I knew that we were going to reverse to the downside, and I was looking for the short. We never got our entry, all right, because we came in with a gap down. I'm going to show you here. I was looking for another opportunity up at that, mild double top there, but you came in with the gap down, all right. You came in with the gap down. This was the day when I realized that I had missed the trade and that she was going to start going without me. And again, if I'm not shorting correctly, I'm not shorting at all. Because who's to say that you don't come in with a gap up and then you retest down here and then you go all the way up to the 50-day, put in a triple top, and then it starts. So I gotta short correctly. I gotta buy puts correctly. Let it go, guys. If you can't identify, comment in chat. I'll do my best to work with you. Join us during the live streams. Identify where are the buyers, where are the sellers, and that is, you're just going to do the same exact thing that they're doing. Anything outside of that is just you messing around with yourself. You have to remember you're going to pay a cheaper price, and it's going to take you a short amount of an area, a shorter area, to know very quickly if you're wrong. You're paying a cheaper price, and you're going to get out quicker. So you're going to be losing less at the end of the day. You're going to lose less than if you were to, think that you're going to get a bounce back, or, you get short here and it does so happen to just go higher. Then you're like, oh crap. Now you're red and you're in puts. And then chances are you're in weeklies because you're not giving yourself time. And then the stock does pull back to where you bought it and you're still red because you either, you didn't give yourself enough time, or you bought the wrong option on top of it because you don't know how to read options, So I let it go. I let it go. That's okay. I'm fine with it. All right. So that's Apple. What am I going to look for with Apple? I want to look to see if we hold this level. If we do not, okay, I do want to look for some downside on Apple if the markets can start to pull back. Now, if the market starts to bounce, okay, Apple is weak, so I'm not sure. It's not going to give you that strength. Apple's not a name like, oh, the market's going higher, Apple's down on its lows. You are at this daily ascending wedge. If you guys see here, it's been sticking to this wedge like, just to the T. Normally stocks don't do this. All right, but you can see here from the point of the rally, look, wicks right down to it, right down to it, right down to it, right down to it. So I am going to be wondering if we're going to hold this or not. Okay, I'm going to be wondering if we hold it. If Apple ends up breaking 182, all right, we have some room. You have really your support level is going to be 180. If 180 does break, I will get short again down at that level because I know we have nothing stopping us for the most part to get to 173, 174. Okay, really that level is going to be 173 for me. I'm sorry, 173.50. That's my. I'm telling you guys right now, this week, if you see Apple underneath 180, I will be short Apple. And I will take that down to 173.50, 174. Taking my profits on the extensions. I'm going to make it easy on myself for you. But the thing is I do already know that I'm identifying that this trend line is being used by other traders, whether that's institutional, along with retail, whatever. It doesn't matter. So if we start to break this, then that's going to say, okay, something has officially changed, not just, the price action level, but that trend line is broke. And it's been used as a major support level where buyers have looked to be a buyer. And you can see, look what happened Thursday. Buyers, look at that. They took it back. And then Friday, they just take it right back again. The sellers just were too much. Okay, but what happened? As you got down to 180, 170, 180, 160, or 180, 130, that area, okay, you started to see buyers nibbling. Now they're nibbling for whatever reason, whether it's long term, this, that, because it's on its lows, right? you don't know the time horizon for whoever's buying that. But again, I will stick to the script. I'm gonna stick to the script, and if that trend line starts to break, then I'm gonna say, all right, let's see if we can break 180. 180 is going to be the level that I say, hey, I'm short. I'm sending out the alert right here in chat, shorting Apple at 180. All right, and I'm going to look to take that. I'm going to take profits down at 177.50, 178, take some at 175, and leave a little piece on it. See if we can't get that 173.50. That's Apple. All right, let's go to Tesla. So Tesla was the big call out last week. You guys know I was all over this thing, and I just, I missed my entry looking at another stock. It was a frustrating morning, but it happens. Nothing's going to be perfect. This is the most beautiful inverse head and shoulders that you'll ever see. Now, why are you going to, here's another thing, here's another lesson. You're going to start to see if we're going to be in a bull market and stocks that are going to go up. We were in a somewhat of a, it's safe to say we were in a bear market for a couple years there. So when you're in a bear market, you're going to see bear market patterns. When you get back into a bull market and stocks are going higher, you're going to see bull market patterns. This is a bull market pattern. You got the pullback. We were looking for the pullback to 195. I thought to myself that might be a little bit too easy. And that's why this gray box right here, you can see 197.50. All right, 197.50. All right, there's a reason why that gray box is there. You wicked right into it. Okay, you wicked right into it. Let's scan this back a little bit for Tesla. All right, you have some nice volume here. You did. All right, Tesla closed just under flat while the overall markets closed down a decent amount. All right, the markets closed red pretty heavily, but Tesla was able to hold itself for the most part. So that's telling you relative strength. If I see the cues or if I start to see some strength out of this market, I'm looking at Tesla for a long. So I've got myself on a short, a stock that's weak. I've got a stock that's kind of weak, but is starting to, change itself into, upside potential that has possible relative strength with it. This 220 level is major, guys. This is like your middleman for Tesla, and it's been it for the past 4 years. All right, around 220 to 210. Okay, that's the level that Tesla's been hanging on to. It broke it, turned it into resistance. Right here, you can see that wick up at 219.35-ish, whatever. Then it recaptured it, made it support, and then broke again. So I want to know, and guess what? What else do we have? We have the 50-day coming right into that level. And what's Tesla doing? The stock's coming right back to that level. So are we going to make 220, 219.50? Are we going to make that 220 area of resistance again? We're going to find out. All right. But for now, I'm going to look for that pullback, right? Which we got Friday, and you held 200 pretty, that psychological 200 level. You closed right at it for the most part. Just under it. What is that? 12 or 14, 13 cents under it. Okay. So Tesla, that's my plan. I want to see where Tesla opens up tomorrow. My plan for Tesla is to take this not only to 210, but I want to see this thing get back to the 50-day. Now, that's probably not going to be without another pullback, and I'd like to look for that trade line. If we can take this yellow line right here, you see this yellow line right there on my screen? I want to look for this trade line to get up here, and then Tesla just to meet it. Right, we start to meet it where? Right around 195, 196.50 area. And then look to see if we can bring in some more buyers there right off of that neckline. And I want to see nice volume. The ideal situation, okay, that I want to see with Tesla, all right, is that if we start to consolidate for 2 days, I would love to just sit here for Monday, maybe Tuesday, and then Wednesday we go. I don't know. We could just go Monday. Shorts start to cover. They've made a lot of money. I mean, you got to remember, Tesla went from 260, right? 260 area, all the way down and broke 200. This is a huge short, guys. 265 to 175, guys. That's almost $100 short. That is almost 100%, not really. That is a huge trade. Let's just keep it at that. Let's call it for what it is. whoever got short, even up at this area here, right? That's a huge trade if you were able to hold on to that. Huge trade. Huge trade. I give it up to you. I do. I give it up to you. So what else do we have up here at 210? You have your 38.2 Fibonacci. All right. We want to see if we can start to change the tide here. 50% retracement is what also? The 50-day moving average. Right? On the daily chart, the 50-day moving average is at that 220 psychological level. That's 50% of the retracement from the downside move. All right, so I'm adding all these indicators with that level, with these levels. All right. So I want to see, ideally, I want to see if Tesla can consolidate for a little bit. I want to see if Tesla can pull back, okay, maybe Tuesday into Wednesday, and we start to head higher later in the week. That's what I would like to see. Doesn't mean that that's going to happen. We could start to head higher right now, and then just news comes out and we get rejected. All right. So I want to see if we can pull back. I'm going to wait and try to get 195, 194.80, 194.90. But I am watching this gray box. We did not break it. Okay, we did not break it Friday. Look at all those wicks coming in front of 197.75, 198. Okay. Look at all those buyers, those tails there. They're coming back. They're putting their foot in the ground, and they're bringing this thing up higher. You know, and it wasn't, in my view. Let's look at it. You know, you want to look at different time frames to see what really happened that day. You know, the buyers were, you know, they were there. You know, they were there. But the real volume was kind of to the sell side. Not really. I'd, you know, that's a buying. Me personally, I would call this. It's 50-50. It doesn't really matter. All right, that doesn't really matter. But if you start to pull back to the level, and then you start to see a day like this where you come out in the morning and you're trading just under 3 million to 2.5 million shares in a 5-minute candle in the morning to the upside, you might want to look to the long. All right, and look for that 210. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to look for 200 on Tesla. Let's look for 200. See if that does turn into resistance. That's going to be roughly Friday's close. Friday's close looks to be at 199.98. So, you know, I will look for, really it's like this whole level here. All right, it's like a 25-cent range. I'm getting hungry. So that's Tesla. Okay, I want to look for a pullback. I'm looking to the long side. A pullback to 195, you know, 194.80, 196. All right, but I'm going to be watching this gray box. The box that I have this at is it's at 197. It's at 197.16 to 197.95. Okay. I want to see Tesla consolidate. I want to start to see Tesla start to curl itself. Okay, what do I mean by that? I want to see it start to like pull back, but then like flatten out a little bit, have like a flat day, and then start putting in that higher low. I'm getting long. I'm telling you right now, I'm getting long. I want to look for 210, possibly even 220 in the coming weeks. You know, that doesn't mean that that's going to happen, but that's my plan right now. I also do know we're in a gap. We do not have much stopping us to the upside. That's the other part to this. You don't have much until you get to 210 or like 208. Okay, 208.15, 208, I'm sorry, 208 to 208.50. All right, that's when you start to get that consolidation right up here. Here's where you were buyers last time. Now, does this mean 208 gets rejected and we get more sellers to step in there? I don't know. I just know we have nothing stopping us in this whole area right here from 195 to 208. That's a nice long. That whole gray box, there's just nothing there stopping us to go higher. Or lower. But again, where the sellers, the real sellers, are up here at 212, 212.50 area. Okay, that's where the sellers are. The buyers were here at 208, sellers up at 212, 213. So we're going to look for 195, 196, 194, this area. Let's hold this neckline, and let's take Tesla screaming to 220, baby. Take it home. just go home. Like Happy Gilmore, if I had emoji thing, which I'm changing the live streams, I'm gonna do recordings. I'm gonna start having that stuff. I would have Billy Madison right now talking about just go to your home. Just go home, ball. Go home. All right, that's Tesla again. Pullbacks 195. Look for the long there. All right, Netflix. Netflix is a stock that has some relative strength with it. All right, we want to see if this can continue. All right, Tesla has put in a nice consolidation bull flag. And look at the strength with volume that you're starting to see. Okay. This is a really nice pattern here. Let's see what happens at 575. What is this? 575. Yes, 575. 575 is the level I'm going to look for on Tesla or on Netflix. I'm sorry, NFLX. All right. Right now, you're holding. It was trying to hold 579. Okay, so 579, 508. I'd really like to try and look for 575 to get long. But let me just say one thing too. This downtrend, okay, this downtrend, normally you don't get that up, that real upside until you test that level. Now, I could take this trend line and put it up here, but it doesn't work. Even with this wick, that wick, for some reason it doesn't work on this breakout, pullback, go long. Unless there's something I'm missing, it just, to me, I will keep that as an identification point because this area was prior resistance at 268. Okay, 268 level is where the sellers used to be. It broke. Those sellers did what? They turned into buyers right there. Okay, that will be the last leg for me to be a buyer. If we get below 567, 568, something fundamentally has changed. Okay, something fundamentally has changed, and therefore, I'm going to look to say, okay, sellers have taken over. Sellers start to take over, I want to be short. That's it. But for now, buyers are in control. Where's the target? The target's going to be up here at like 620, 615. That's going to be my target. All right, so Netflix, I want to see, does this start to hold tomorrow? If the markets start to have a little bit of relative strength, we'll look for 575, pullbacks into that area, and we'll look to get long at 575 on Netflix. You do have, what is this? Did I just paint that right? Yeah, I'll say the 50-day is way below us. I just want to make sure. Yeah, that's supposed to be green. That's supposed to be green until it breaks. Pullbacks again, 570 would be the last area. If we don't hold 570, and what's funny about this is you're starting to get on the daily chart your 20-day moving average to come up there, right? And you look for that 20-day. Look, it was prior support, kind of. It was actually resistance and just stayed there. What I would do is I would look for this 20-day, maybe it flattens out in that 9 EMA, your 20-day here. Maybe they start to meet at like 575, but we've already hit that. Really, I'm trying to say 568. Okay, 568, what is this? 567. Okay, 567 level, 568. Look to be like, again, that's the last leg for me to be long, because I feel like this was too big of a breakout, right? And why am I saying that if it gets there, I want to look to start being short? That I would consider that a failed breakout because you're taking back too much of the move, right? That's telling me that buyers are no longer in control, because you should just have pullbacks, right? Pullbacks are normal because you're going to have some profit takers. There's a difference between profit takers and people that are selling the stock. Okay, and in conjunction with what the markets are doing. All right, so if the markets start to pull back, and I'm like, hey, Netflix broke out freaking 50 to 6. Netflix breaks out $50, and now that $50 is taken back, and we're back at 550, 560. I'm like, okay, that was a little too much, because now these sellers that turned into buyers, they're going to be at break-even prices. Okay, or they're going to look to get short again. Sellers are going to regain control. Okay, you feel what I'm saying? This here is, I'm still bullish. 579, 575 even. That's where I want to look to still be a buyer. Again, if we take back, this upside move, then I'm going to look to start thinking the opposite direction. And look at that. That's your 38.2 Fibonacci. Perfect, right? This is how you want to start trading, using your indicators. But more importantly, not even that, just locate where the buyers and sellers are. And when you start to make a rally, right, and you're rallying 50 points or 25 points, and then in 2-3 days that 20 points has been taken back, chances are something's fundamentally changed. You'll look to the indexes, the SPY, the Qs, the Dow, the IWM, and they're starting to make lower highs, and you're starting to sense that shift. Chances are that's no longer a long. You might want to look at a different name that's weak, or you could again, I can't tell you what to do. And the only thing I can tell you is please hit that like button, subscribe. For hitting the like button, it is going to help someone that wants to learn this and do this the correct way. I've been trading for almost 10 years now, if not over, about, just under. I've been trading for about 10 years now. I've been through market cycles. I do this every day. And if you don't know, we trade live right here Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 4. All right? We make trading difficult, and this is why I do these. All right? So if you could, again, subscribe if you haven't already done so. I'm doing a giveaway when we get to 1,000 subscribers, and I won't have to say it anymore. I kind of just I made that promise that I don't want to be one of those guys. I just want to get to 1,000 subscribers. Be awesome. Be greatly appreciative of that. And again, you would be helping someone else find the stream. So, keep it moving. That's what I'm looking for on Netflix, okay? We're going to look at these previous highs here. 575, 580. We're going to look to hold this level and look to go higher. We start to take back any more than that, then we're like, okay, something could be wrong here. Then I'm going to sit aside. I'm going to wait and let Netflix do what it wants to do, and I'll come back to it. All right? I'll come back to it. But to me, a move back down to 567, 568, to me, you've kind of retraced a little bit more than I would like to see, which could happen because you just went and broke out and ran 50. You ran 50 points, from 550, and you put in that double bottom, and bang, you just went to 600 in 2 days practically 2 days, because this day was flat, right? 2 days you went 50 points. That's a huge trade. So you could see a bit of profit taking there. That's Netflix. Let's keep it moving. SMCI, baby. I want to look for a bounce back and a possible short again, but I'm going to look for a bounce back on SMCI. I'm not sure how much and how traders are going to react to, I think with this volume, I think there's going to be volatility before and after NVIDIA. I got to be honest. That's what I think. I was not ready for the short on SMCI. I wasn't really watching this name. I mean, I was looking at it from time to time, but it wasn't really on my list. Now, let's see if we're on the backside of this trade. You're starting to see here on SMCI, you're starting to see this previous support level at 836, 835, 836 start to become resistance. All right, you're starting to become resistance. You do have a little bit of a ugly inverse head and shoulders. I would not consider that an inverse head and shoulders. All right, you had some massive volume, and this is what I said. If you joined us, and trade with us, because we trade live right here Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 4. I told you guys, look for that volume to just dwarf. Okay, and what did you get? Look at that volume, huge. You had the market on your side for the downside. And it's a shame for anybody that lost money on this thing and was green. Shame on you. If you go to Wall Street Bets, you're going to see a lot of people that were green and just don't have respect for money. It's sad. If you turn $180 into 200,000, 400,000, whatever it was, and you do not take profits at 100, 150 grand and take it off the fucking table, shame on you. You deserve to lose money. I guess they still came out with 40K from what they said, but why? Okay, unless you got it like that, then that's different. But shame on you. Okay, because here's the thing with that. The reason I find that disrespectful is because the amount of good that person could have done for not only their self, but their community or their family. All right, that could have been a helping hand to someone out there that could have needed it. They want to be an asshole, fine, whatever. Do what you want. You lost money, but shame on you. Because there's people out there that, you could have really helped somebody with that. to take $160, 180, whatever it was, and turn it into 400,000, and then not sell it and let it go all the way back down to $40,000. Shame on you. Like that's just like, I have no respect for you at that point. I don't. You do it. I have respect as far as you doing what you want for your money, and if this person sees that video, if you got it like that, chances are, if you're trading $186 and not, your position size isn't greater, and you're actually trading, like, then it kind of tells me you probably didn't have the 4 to 200,000 that you lost, right? You probably didn't have it. You probably needed it. All right, if you had $180 invested in it, just saying, because maybe I'm wrong. I'm just saying. But to do that is disrespectful to your mom, your grandmother, your other half, whether it's a boy or girl, whatever, like your community, something, right? That's so disrespectful in my book. It's just, again, do what you want, but I'm just saying, you could have done a lot of good with that 400 grand, because corporate's not going to do it. Here you are stepping up, taking their money and not giving it back to the people. Shame on you. That's my point. So what am I going to look for? SMCI. SMCI, I want to see if we can start to reclaim 830, 831. Really, it's like 830, 250 area. Again, this price action is huge. There's big swings back and forth. You have some nice bull flags here. I want to see if we can test. My game plan is going to be, what do we do at 880? 880 is the level that I'm looking for right here, guys. All right, 880. All right, 880 is the level that I'm looking for. What happened here? Hold on, guys. Sorry about that. So $888 is the level that I'm looking for. All right, 880 is the level I'm looking for right there. I'm going to make it a 3. That's the level I'm looking for on SMCI. I want to see, do we reclaim that level? All right. Chances are the volume was so damn severe. You could come in with a gap down. I don't know. We'll see. So I'm going to give you both plans for this. If you come in and you're above 833.50, 835, I'll look for a pullback. Oh, I'm sorry. Anything above 800. If you're still above 800, I'd look for 800 to be support. Then I would look for a bounce back into 880. All right. Chances are you won't get it, because you already turned with some decent volume. You've already turned, 830, 835 right there into resistance. You've already turned that into resistance right there. All right. So this is going to go back to Friday, Thursday, Wednesday's support level, that higher low, double bottom it put in here. This whole area, I'm going to look to see, does it get reclaimed or does it continue to reject? As of right now, it's a rejection point. Now, why do I think we could get to 880? You'll have to join us tomorrow for that. All right. It would not surprise me if we did, but you're going to need to have the markets at your back. The probability, I think, is low. I think it's a low probability that you get back to 880, but it would not surprise me. We get to 880, if we cannot get through it, and I'm talking like you're going to wick, right? It's an area. I want to look to see if we can reject that whole area and look to possibly get the short. And I want to start to see if we can really hang on this short and start taking this thing down a little bit to fill some gaps. It may not be time for that. So I am not rolling anything out. This thing could trade sideways. If it trades sideways and stays up there, that's going to give me more upside probability. I'm going to start feeling a little bit better about trying to take a long, flipping to get short. All right, because if you start to hold 800 a day or two, whatever, people are going to get nervous, whoever was short, and they're going to start covering. All right, then I would look for that bounce to 900. What do we do there? Do we get above, do we get above 880, get up above 900 and test again? Because what could happen is you could start to see a second short squeeze where people start getting short on a backside trade, but it doesn't break out, and the buyers are just still so damn liquid. Maybe they're taking the profits in the buy side and they just go right back in a second time. I don't know. So we're going to see. But to the downside, I want to see us not get above, you know, that 900 to 880 level. Really, I'd like for the short. I also would like to stay underneath 830 to 840. Okay. I want to see this double top here at 800 break. I want to see that break for me to get short. I want to start to like sense like, okay, we put in a lower high. We're on low volume. You know, this could be it, right? You're starting to get volume to the downside the next day or two. We'll play it. But that's my plan, right? My plan is 800. If we start to crack 800, I'm going to look short and try to take it back down to 700. This isn't trading at a crazy multiple either, so I'm not ruling out the upside. If we're above 800, I am long at 800, and I'm going to look to go to 900. Okay, if not 950. Give me that 950, baby. Who got my money? Who is it? The long side or the short side? You tell me, market. You tell me. That's my plan. 800 for me is the level. That's the level I'm going to look for. Okay, that's the level I'm looking for. You know, this was a mean day. Again, you had the markets at your back. What happens if the markets start to go to the upside a little bit? What if you have good news from Walmart, Home Depot, right? And who reports Monday and the market's like, oh shit, right? Oh crap, what do we do? So there you go. You'll start to get some up. You could look to get some upside there. Again, if you're new here, welcome. If you could hit that like button, subscribe. Let's keep it moving. Coinbase. I'm going to be watching Bitcoin on this one. This is why I brought up Bitcoin just a little bit ago. Bitcoin is kind of looking a little flat here. There's still a lot of relative strength with it. The volume is starting to get, you know, the sellers are really starting to come in. You're starting to see some profit taken as far as the volume is concerned. All right, but all it takes is one day like this, 1 or 2 days where it's just whoom, and it just makes that second leg higher. Consolidates, leg higher. That's what I'm going to look for. I'm going to look for Bitcoin to pull back. Okay, I would like Bitcoin to pull back to that 47, 45 area. Consolidate, stay there. Look to go higher. Here's the one thing I want to show you guys because this is important. It's so important. You need to know this. You need to know this. You need to know that financial conditions are at their lows. And if they start to drift higher, that's going to put pressure on asset prices. Equities, Bitcoin, the dollar could get stronger. So keep an eye on it. All right. This is the SPY. This is Bitcoin. This is liquidity from the Fed. Oh, and the other thing. If you're looking to get short or long the Qs, know the names. Here's a whole dang list of them for you. All right. Adobe, Intel, Qualcomm, Oracle. All right. Micron. Because again, communication or information technology, communication services, consumer discretionary, consumer staples, they make up the majority of the SPY or of the Qs, the NASDAQ. Okay. Information technology makes up 49.3%. 36 out of the 101 names. Communication services and consumer discretionary. Find that mix. Know the names, know the weighting. Understand that technology makes up half, but what technology? What technology names? All right, Coinbase. All right, so, you know, I gotta be honest, guys. This was just a big hit for everybody Friday. Everybody took it on the chin. I would like to. I would like a pullback for me to get long. All right, because Coinbase has already broke that previous high. It did not hold it up at 187. It's not that you still can't. You know, you're 7 points underneath of it, but you have a gap here. All right, you have these huge gap there from earnings, and I don't recall what the earnings were because I was busy. You know, you guys know. Anybody that's been here knows. So I want to see a low volume pullback on Coinbase and look for that 160 level. 160 is going to be the level that I'm going to look for and see if it takes itself a little bit to get there. I want some like low volume, nice tight price action. That tells me maybe that this 50-day moving average and and Coinbase can start to meet up, right? Here's your 50-day. I want to see if they can start to meet like in this area there, okay? I want to look for the 50-day and Coinbase to start to meet, even the 20-day. All right? I'm not, I'm not judging. I don't care who it is. I need something to show me other than this previous resistance. Can we make that support? But I would like to have something else there to help solidify the support level and give buyers a reason to get in. Okay? All right, so we got 38.2 Fibonacci. We could possibly have the 50-day, 20-day, 9 EMA all there. Do these previous sellers get that pullback and turn from being a seller at 161 to being a buyer at 161? I'm going to look for the pullback. Chances are you get back to 160, 161. You should look for a bounce there. I think that level is just, that's a pretty big level here. Let's go back and look at it from previous levels. You can see here, not even. All right, so shoot. You can see here it was support, guys. You can see 160 was that previous support level. You reclaimed it, like you went back up there. Now, can we pull back and really put in some buying? Because this was solidified as resistance that was broken. Okay. So Coinbase 160, 161 is what I'm looking for the long. In order for me to get short, this is some nice volume here. All right. I'm looking for a retest of Friday's lows, and I want to look to start pulling back. All right. I want to start looking to get a pullback to 160, 161. Now, does Bitcoin help with that, or does it hurt that? I'm not going to fight Bitcoin. If Bitcoin is going higher, I'm not shorting Coinbase unless something dramatically changes. Volume, whatever. So that's Coinbase. I have a few other names here I want to go over, like Oracle. Okay, Oracle, downside. All right, you're getting some downside out of some of these names here on the Qs. These are the names I want to be short. If the Qs start to go down, Oracle is a name that I want to look to get short because you don't have much stopping you at all. All right, really your next support level will be down at like 110. It's like 110 area. Call it 106. All right. That's Oracle, okay? These are just some other names I'm looking at. You can see here, very clear double top. Look what happened when you put in a double top here prior. Bang. All right, one more time, double top. Bang. Where are we headed? Are we headed to 100, 103? Where are we going? You have the 50-day, 100-day here. You have the 200-day sitting there. All right, is that 200-day going to be strong enough? I think that you get a bounce on Oracle. All right, I would look for a bounce off the 200-day at 111.20. Bounce to like 112 and then get short at 112. And try to break that level, get down to the 50-day, 100-day. That's Oracle. All right, bounce off the 200-day. Look to get that rejection at like 112, 113. Look to get short, 112, 113. That's what I'm looking for. All right, I want to start turning that area back into resistance. All right. Adobe. All right, another one. I want to look for the bounce back. It's not at the 200-day yet. But if we can get a bounce back to 559, 560, I want to get short. Adobe, I want to look to try to get through the 200-day. I want to see if we can bring it back down to 500. All right, Adobe, 500 is what I'm looking for. Again, I'm only shorting on bounce backs, but not just that. If we get the bounce back and the market is weak, I need the market weak, then I'll look to these names to get short. Because if the market's weak, these are weak, should give you that extension, that follow through. AMD. All right, we said last week we wanted to be a buyer at what? 174. Why do we want to be a buyer at 174.50? Because how are you going to get through 180 before you get through 174? You need to solidify 174 and start to walk it up. 2, we're buying here, not buying at 180, because if you get that pullback off of 180 and it tests 174, 174.50, and it goes long, you're still right. That's just the risk to reward there is not good. So we want to get long because we're going to know if 174 doesn't hold, we're going to know quickly, and we're paying a cheaper price. That's the point. These things can help you stay in trades, or take trades, I should say. Understanding the math. If you buy right, you are paying a cheaper price, and you're going to know a lot quicker if you're wrong. This is how you can make it easier. Say that to yourself in the trades. If you're buying the lows and you're scared, like, oh, it's going down, I can't buy the low. I got to wait for it to, go higher and then pull back. Okay, fine, do that. Okay. But guess what? If we're already long and you're waiting to get in, we're taking profits and you're buying, a quarter of our bag. We've already gotten our 30, 40, 50%. And we're just going to keep it going. And then you're going to get emotional because it goes up and then it pulls back. You get long and it doesn't really go up. It goes up to that pullback part and then kind of has trouble, and locate the buyers and the sellers. Okay. You're going to know very quickly at 174. If that doesn't hold, chances are you're wrong. All right. Chances are you're wrong. And again, that level was it's like 173, 174. All right. We gave that out last week. And what did we say? 180. 180 is a brick wall right now. You're going to need a catalyst or something to get through it. Okay. 180 is a brick wall. And guess what happened? Friday, I took a short, damn near 100% on this trade, guys. We all ate Friday. We all ate. So again, join us right here on this channel. We trade live Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 4. I'm doing this because I need, a lot of you guys may not, you got to get serious. You got to own. You got to execute. You got to show up. You got to own it. If you really want this, you're going to have to understand that if you buy correctly, you're going to pay a cheaper price, and you're not going to have to let this thing move around very much to know that you're wrong. Okay? It's not like some of you guys have been doing this for a long time. This isn't for you. These are people that are, that are new. I'm trying to keep it basic here. That if you identify, one, it's in a consolidation. So in that consolidation, where's the bottom? Where's the top? We're long at the bottom. We're short at the top. Don't worry about if it breaks out through that level. I just told you, if 180 breaks, there's probably a reason. Whether it's an upgrade, NVIDIA does well on earnings, and that sends the whole semiconductor sector higher. Chances are that's the catalyst that AMD needs to break 180. NVIDIA's earnings. Maybe NVIDIA that has great earnings and AMD just can't get up there because nobody wants to pay that price. All right. It's low volume. So chances are they're waiting. Okay. Tomorrow, AMD. If AMD is able to hold 171, 175, 172, all right. I don't like it there because I don't really have a gauge on a clear level there. Let's go to a 15-minute chart. Ultimately, I want to be a buyer down here, guys. All right. 166. All right. 166 to 164. I want to be a buyer down here. All right. Chances are you have this wedge getting put in. But that wedge, real quick, that wedge could actually start to be something like this. Okay. And maybe, come on. All right. I don't know what's going on here. There we go. And maybe it's something like this. Okay. Because you're not seeing something there. All right. Maybe on the daily chart, we're going to go maybe something like this and like this. Okay. I'm going to here's the thing. It's consolidating for a reason. Or am I going right here? Right? Am I going here? Guess what? AMD is going to tell me very soon what's up. But it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, okay, undo. I'm going to show you real quick. Undo. There we are. All right. We know we have resistance up here. You have that downtrend line, but you have that flat top resistance. This one. I guess you could consider that one, but I wouldn't, right? Because you pulled back, bounce 1, 2, right? That third, fourth time is when you start to break it because you're adding in time. And after a while, it's like, okay, we're not going to go down. We're going to go up. All right, look for the markets to get at your back. Again, this is where I'm going to be a buyer. All right, 166 to 165, 164.50 area is where I'm going to look to be a buyer. Okay, that area right there. All right, there's a gap here. That's why I'm looking for this gap to get filled. You have a gap here on AMD at 171.50 to 173.50 area. Let's go to a 15-minute chart. I have way too many lines on this chart. I'm going to clean it up. And again, this is aside from any other news that we do have, guys. All right. So my plan with AMD is ultimately I would like to be a buyer back down at 166. If we pull back to like 171, dude, I don't know what's going on here. So what's really going to help here? You see, you broke 174.50. You broke that level. Let me get rid of this. All right, so look here. You guys can see I'm going to make this really clear. 174.50. And look at this. Look at that. You're going to see here that just broke. All right, that area just broke. Okay. And you can see, look, support to the left of the screen. It breaks it. And where were those sellers? They were at 177.90. Where were they on Monday? 180. And where? 177. Right? Same thing. Right? 170s. 176. 176. Yeah. So you can see here, right? Resistance. This whole area up here. All right. So 180, that high 170s, you have all those sellers up there. Let's look to pull this thing back down and see if we can't get to like 169. All right, so what I'd look for tomorrow is if we cannot get back above 174.50. 174.50. If we do, okay, then I'm going to wait. If we get up to like 176, right? You start trying to take back a little bit of that move. I'm going to look at 177. All right, 177 area, 178. I'm going to let it do its thing because up here I don't have an advantage unless there's news. Unless there's serious volumes, unless there's something has changed. For now, we can look at, you'll probably get this mild level of 173, but I want to get short 177, pretty much 174.50 because 174.50 broke. It reclaimed it. It could not hold it. Right here. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I know I'm going too long, but I want to make it quick. All right. This level here, 174. Okay, this red box here, you can see, look, double bottom, bang, bang, and look, it recovers it. It recovered 174.50 right here, right? Those buyers stepped in, they brought it up. What did it do? It tested it again, right? I apologize. All right, they tested it again, guys, but what happened? It broke. It broke. They came in. They tried to reclaim it, turn it into resistance, and what happened? You closed underneath of it. So I want to see where we open up at. Right here was your close, right here. You closed under it. So that solidifies. And look at the retest. You broke it, you pulled back, and said nope. All right. So I'm going to look for 174.50 if that's a resistance level. Again, there's not much meat on the bone here. Okay, you had to be short up at 180. Because if you're short at 180 where we were short, you're already $8, right? Is my math right? $6. You've already collected $6 worth versus trying to get short at 174.50 and looking for 166. I mean, 165. So you still got $10 of downside possible left. Possibly. All right. I'm going to look for 170. I'm going to look for that level to be resistance tomorrow, Tuesday. I don't want to be short going into NVIDIA's earnings. But I will be looking for like, a rejection of some sorts up here at 174.50, 175. It's a bit overdone right now to the downside. Again, this is a trade that's probably not something you should trade and wait. Not everything is a trade. Remember that. Not everything's a long and not everything is a short. the setup here, it's like, I got to wait for this to be at 180 to be short, or wait for the break of 180, or I have to wait for it to get back down to like 165, 166. I need to be long down here. There's still some meat on the bone. The thing is, you have so much congestion that you may not get that follow through unless you have news. All right. SMCI we went over. Let's look and see what Save's doing. You had some short squeezes that started to happen last week. You seen stuff with like DWAC. So I'm going to keep these on my mind or on my watch list. All right. I think there was like Holo or something like that. I can't remember what it was called. I may be wrong here. Yeah, look at this, right? This one broke out Friday. You have major resistance level up here. Yeah, so this thing broke out Friday. You can see the tail on that. You're up above the 200-day. I wouldn't be looking at that anymore. I'd be out of that. So I'll be looking there. I have some other ones like Boeing. We'll cover more. We'll have news in the morning. Remember, you have Barclays reporting earnings. Apple's pretty weak. Boeing, look at this pennant. It's just this massive bear flag it's putting in here. Massive bear flag there, guys. All right, we already know 209, 212 is where we're short. We've been shorting Boeing. We have been playing this range. 212, 213, short, 200, 203, long. Just try it out. Try it out. You're on the end of this. This consolidation has been taking place for a while. You have to factor that in. So either sellers are going to step in or buyers are going to start taking this higher. It's not going lower, so chances are they start covering and they wait to try to get this thing at a higher price. I'd like to see if we could get a bounce out of Boeing, personally. Okay, let's see if they give it like an upgrade or either a downgrade this week. Let's see what they do. All right, because I think Boeing's coming to the point where you've played around with the 200, 100-day moving average. You're not breaking 202.50, 203, 200 level. It's just not breaking right now. So I'm going to look for that level, and I'll talk about this more. This will be a trade that I'll just be watching. And the thing is like the Dow's holding this up. So in my opinion, I would wait. Like if we start to see like blue chip names start to pull back, maybe that's your catalyst to take this to 190. Okay, maybe that's your tech catalyst. But you got to remember, it's in this range. Like this whole area is choppy. There's a lot of price action here, which means there's a lot of buyers and a lot of sellers. So there's no real room for it to move. If you start to break out, then you have room, up to 220. You get out at 220, you don't really have much stopping you there, right? And on the bottom end, okay, 193, but really it's like 200. So you can see all this consolidation there and why it's not really moving, right? Look at it. Choppy, 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 choppy. Where are we? We're back into quicksand. Choppy, choppy, choppy. Please subscribe. We're going our way to 1,000 subscribers. And hit the like button, please. If you're new, let us know. If you guys have any tickers, throw them out. I'm sure I'm missing some. Amazon was another one that I'm looking at. So that's Boeing. Let me go into Amazon. Let's go to a 30-minute chart real quick. We'll look at Boeing real quick. It's putting in it's putting in lower highs, but it's also just started to put in a higher low. So, have your pick. Pick your poison, okay? What I would look for is I'm watching 203. If we get another opportunity, or if we start to see that the markets kind of get a bounce to like either test that upside again. If the markets test the upside, then I would look to be long Boeing, and I would look to get long at like 204 and see if we can't break above 206 and try to get to 209, 208. All right, 208, 209 area. All right, it's this area right here. All right, right there. 208, 209. 209 is your major support level. And then if you ready to gain that, then look, you're going back to see if you can put in a lower high, right? So what I look for is if Boeing starts walking itself up, right? What do we look for? We're going to look to start, all right, we're going to look to walk it up. All right, I'm buying the pullback. It breaks out. It pulls back off the minor level, puts in a higher low, all right? Just starts going higher, walking itself up, recapturing those levels. What are the levels? 204. 204.90. 206. Break through that double top there, 206.50. Reclaim 207. We reclaim 207. So you're going to get bounces. You're going to get mild pullbacks off of those levels. I have to watch for news and stuff like that. So that's my look into the week, right? Is the name, some of the names we've been looking at. Energy, okay? Energy's been very strong last week, but it's coming into resistance, okay? Take a look at this heat map here, and you're going to see the shift in the blue chip names. All right? Look at the 1 week performance. Notice how it's all like outside of Microsoft, Apple, Oracle, Google. Even Amazon was red, and Baba Pinduoduo was up 6%. Okay? I think there was news for Wells Fargo. Banks are very strong. That's the other one I didn't write down. We've been watching JP Morgan. Okay? You start to learn this price action, you can start to be green. We're waiting for JP Morgan. We're gonna be watching 178, but if we get our pullback to 177, 176.50 area, this previous high here from the earnings, we start turning that earnings into support and we consolidate and just hang out. I'm gonna look to go long and see if we can't take it to new highs. Okay, chances are if we get another little bounce, a lower high, we could look for the short back down to earnings, which was, I'll show you, was back here. Okay, that the high of earnings was 176. So when I say this area 176, you know what I mean? So it's reclaimed earnings. You had a failed breakdown right there and then it just rallied. So if it's going to continue to the upside, this is the strongest name in the banking sector, in my opinion, right now. I think also Wells Fargo. Now, I don't know percentage-wise, but I do know it's already been making new all-time highs. All right, I have been watching credit spreads for these banks. All right. So JP Morgan, Oxy, right? So that's my play for JP Morgan. Look for that pullback of that, consolidation area. Look to get long. Oxy recaptured that 100-day moving average. Could you believe it? After the day it had Thursday, I think it was. Look at that candle. Whoom. We got to back this thing up real quick. Look at the weekly chart here. I got to get going. Look at that weekly chart here. Look at this massive support level that we have here. All right. I have been saying either Berkshire is going to come out and say that they're going to take this thing private, or it's going lower. All right, I don't see this huge bull flag. If you measure the move out, this thing's taking you to all-time highs. They may just pay you and get it over with. 99 to 110 area, 105. All right, 99 to 1. What is that? 90. Yeah, 100 to 105. All right. I'm going to watch to see, look at this consolidation. You're not breaking. And now, look, you put in that nice little double bottom here. You got the shift. And listen, we were already long this name a few weeks ago. We literally caught this reversal. This is why you got to join us and like and subscribe so you get these. Guys, you could have been long that day right there on that candle. Got the gap up, pull back, wham. Bam, thank you, ma'am. All right, we identified divergence. We identified where are the buyers, where are the sellers. Along with that, what are our indicators telling us? So with that, we said, guys, this is a risk-on moment. We got to get it. It was a huge day in chat. It was a huge week in chat that week. I remember. This thing went, and I was on something else, right? But it was listen, I gave it to you. All right, I gave that out to you. All right. So now look, Oxy's reclaimed that 100-day. Until that 100-day breaks, I need a pullback. We can see if we can catch a. Here's what I'm gonna say. If Occidental starts consolidating here, which I don't think it does, I think it's going to give us the pullback. It's just a matter of when. I'm going to look for $59. Okay, $59. If we pull back and it holds, then I'm going to look to say, okay, all right. Again, if it just starts screaming higher from here, then I'm going to be like, all right, something's obviously going on here. We need to look for that uptrend up there. But this thing already, it just feels like it needs to cool down a bit. It just made this wild move. Are we going to start sending this weekly chart up to 75? The RSI is at 52 right now, 50. So the weekly chart's okay for some more upside. So do we start to just consolidate and stay up here on the daily chart? Consolidate, bring that RSI down, bang, we look to get long, and we get long at 59, 59.50, wherever that level may be. Maybe we're still above, maybe we're just sitting at 60. Maybe we just hang out at 60, consolidate between, you guys can see right here to the left, right? You want to identify patterns. Do we sit here and chop just like it did here for a couple days? And you see how it broke down and gave you that movement there, right? It sat here, consolidated, right? And then what happened? It broke down. So can we do the same thing? Can we sit here and consolidate here and then break out to the upside? Okay. We're going to find out. That's a big moment that it just broke and held the 50-day. So what you have now is it's stuck between the 50 and 200. So this could also cause you on a break of the 200 or 100, because it'll squeeze it. It's going to put pressure on it. All right. This blue line's the 100. That turquoise line is the 200-day. Now that we're stuck between those two levels, this thing could consolidate for a little bit here. All right. It could consolidate. And we'll look for the day that it breaks out of that level, whether it's to the upside or to the downside. It doesn't matter to me as long as I identify when it breaks out and to what direction that is. All right. Who's in control, buyers or sellers? And where are they at? Where are they entering? Just because something's going up doesn't mean you got to get long. All right. So that's that, guys. We pretty much covered the whole markets. I will be watching, semiconductors, BABA, kind of. It hasn't been making any moves. Banking sector, again, 1 week relative performance. You can see a little bit of healthcare, Eli Lilly. All right, doing okay. I haven't looked at that in a while. You do have Moderna reporting this week. Look at Eli Lilly just blasting off. All right, you got what happens. Look there. We identified 79 or 794.47. Call it 79.40, 794.50. You have sellers starting to step in. Chances are, if you cannot get above that level, you might have a short down to 760, 770. Not something I would do. Maybe I do. I don't know. All right. I would look for a pullback. Eli Lilly to 740, 741, 742 actually. To this area here. Yeah, 740. Wow. That's because it's a $700 stock. All right. So I would look for this area, get a pullback. You have some mild levels here at 760. Look for this thing to pull back. It doesn't look like you held these highs and made it support. Okay. And what do I mean by that? Look right here. Right there. Okay, if I turn this to a 2, all right, you didn't pull into it, right? Oh, you did. You put that little, so that little tail, that little tail there that you just saw, and what am I talking about? This little tail right here. Look. All right, this little tail right there. See that little guy right here? That little guy right there is holding up all of that price action. You think it's strong enough to do that? So chances are you're going to see a reversal. And you should test 745. You should test it again. All right, let these markets pull back a little bit. Chances are. All right, they just had a dividend payout. Amazon with this Jeff Bezos stuff. All right, your line in the sand for Amazon is here at 168. So until we break up, until we start picking a direction here, I don't know about Amazon for me personally just yet. This, obviously this is where your buyers are. It's not breaking it, but it's only a matter of time before it holds it and goes up, or it breaks and starts to head back down to the 50-day. And that'll depend on the markets. Okay, Amazon was about just, it closed red, but it was about flat. You have some support here, so maybe we can look to try to take Amazon back to 172.50. Possibly. Okay, 172.50. This area up here. Yeah, 172, 172.50. That's Amazon. We can go to Google and Microsoft real quick if you guys want. If you guys have anything, let me know. We can go to NVIDIA real quick just to get it over with. To me, NVIDIA, guys, is putting in an ascending wedge, which is a trend reversal. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's going to reverse on earnings, but look at this reversal sign right here. Where was it? Right there? Yes, right there. Look at that. It does not get any cleaner than this, guys. It doesn't get any cleaner than that. All right, we'll turn that to we'll turn it to a 3. We'll make it orange. Bang. All right, edit properties, 3. Orange, 3 orange. Let's go. Is NVIDIA going to give us that reversal? All right, the thing is this could put in a longer term bull flag if it's going to go higher. It doesn't mean it's going to reverse. Usually this uptrend, right, is that ascending wedge, not descending, is usually a trend reversal. So I would look for a bounce back to 134.50, 730, 734.50 to 730, that $4 area. Look for Friday it actually held. All right, so you can see here, this is where I would look to be a buyer. Okay, right there, believe it or not. Until it doesn't work, you got to be a buyer. Okay? Until it doesn't work, you got to look to be at least I am going to look to be a buyer. All right? Right here at 725. No. 725, I'm a buyer long. And anything under that is when I start thinking about the short. But I still have buyers down there waiting to scoop this thing up. So, not every trade is a long and not every trade is a short, guys. I appreciate all of y'all. Oh, Microsoft and Google real quick. If you guys have anything, throw it in the chat. Snowflake, another one. All right. If we sense some type of strength, we were looking at Snowflake for the downside. You have a bit of a double top here. It feels like Snowflake's got a little bit of strength. It just did not sell off like the rest of the market did. Okay. I do want to try to get a short and another test of 220. You have the 20-day moving average coming up there. Your 9 EMA. Oh, I forgot. Sorry. 227. I want to see if this 9 EMA can hold again if it gets there. All right, so if we can pull it back. Let me pull this over here so you guys can see it. Okay, you see that yellow line right here? See that yellow line coming up? See if we can pull back to it, right, tomorrow. And see if we can hold it. And then look for the long, right? And then it'll break the level. And then we look to but you're coming up to where? You're coming up to overhead resistance. All right. Overhead resistance on the daily chart. Even the weekly chart. You can see here. Look at this. Resistance. Support. Support. Resistance. Resistance. So chances are, if we break above 240, it's on, baby. You already filled the gap. I gave you guys my targets for Snowflake. I told you guys we're looking for that, we're looking for that area. I told you guys already when we did put in that double top and rallied and we broke these highs here, I was like, yo, you got to be kidding me. We already filled the gap. We're already at the gap. So for anybody that's been here, this trade, we were on this way back here. All right, we were on this way back here. All right, I think it was even down here. I got to be honest, I think it was down here. When we held the 100-day and see, look, you can see, you turned that 100-day into resistance. It broke, it got above it, pulled back to it right here. Bang. Right. So we're going to look for, some of these moving averages start to catch up to it. All right. Stocks don't just go straight up. They also don't go straight down. Sometimes they do if there's a reason. Let's go. We didn't do Microsoft yesterday. So look, 240, you have resistance up there. If Snowflake can't get above that, then I'm going to look for some downside. Mega cap tech has been a little weak. All right. It's been a little weak. Microsoft, you have some buying pressure down here at 402, 404. Got to look to be long to the top of the range of like 410. That's a nice move. 410, 412. You have a nice gap here. All right. That gap is at 410 to 416 area, 415. Call it a $5 range. That's your gap. If you can just get long somewhere down here and it holds, you're going to know quick if you're wrong. You're going to pay a cheaper price and you just let that thing go as high as it wants. That's if the markets have some relative strength and start to turn around. Microsoft is a name I'll look at to try to go to the upside if the markets, like the SPY and the Qs, start to turn around, which would, Microsoft would be something I could look at to be in for like a day or two. And I would look for like 4 to 6 points, in a few days. All right. Right now, that 9 EMA is acting as resistance. Look here. Okay, I just want to show you guys. Look at that. Support, support, support. Tried to break it, quickly got bought back up. Support, okay? Kind of like right here, but not really. It's just gaps above it. It seems to like the 20-day moving average. Now, you want to go back and identify what are the moving averages that it likes and doesn't like. Okay, you can tell the 50-day, that's a nice test. Let's look at that 20-day right there. Look at that. Bumps right into it. Resistance, resistance. Above it, opens above it, breaks it. And then what? Boom, boom. Tries to hold it as support, breaks it. Resistance, resistance. And then it recaptures it. And then it just goes. All right. That's Microsoft. And what is Microsoft? Microsoft is, all right, a long, if it shows itself, or a short if it shows itself, which I'll show you real quick. All right. If we get a bounce back, we can get some type of bounce back. Or better yet, if we start to crack this level here at like 402.65, 403, this is a tough one for me. I have to wait. I can't really make a decision on this now because I want to see what happens if Microsoft starts to test this level here, the 20-day. Because I think Microsoft's going to give you a low volume bounce back to test the 20 and 9 EMA, all in that area right there at like 408 to 406. And I'm going to look to say, is that the lower high? Okay, or is it going to start turning it into support? Okay, the volume is not. You had some nice volume this day right there, but look at that tail. A lot of that volume that day, even though it closed green, a lot of that volume is to the sell side. So that tells me, 410, I need to be a seller. Down here at like 403, 402, I need to be a buyer until something changes. All right, so that's that. You guys have anything for me? I want to thank you guys for being here, not only for yourselves, or not only for, to be here, because you guys want to learn, you guys want to do better, you guys want to, you guys are in the game making the most of your life. Okay, and that's what is important here, is that you're out here, you're trying, whether it's you're trying to get ahead, you're just trying to make some extra money for a vacation, just to get your net worth up, whatever it is. Capital preservation is obviously number one. You gotta have that first. You gotta hold your money before you start making it. You want to hold on to it. All right. And this is how we hold on to it, by identifying our buyers going to step up here on Meta. This could be a nice long. That's a nice tail. All right. You can see here, look, resistance, resistance, resistance. It tried to break, quickly got taken back with a gap down. And what happened though? That gap down was quickly met with upside. Bang. It went all the way up to 488. So there's still some strength here. This is a low volume pullback. If we throw up a Fibonacci retracement, I'm sure that that's about 50% retracement, and just a little bit over. All right, so I like Meta. If the market's going to go higher, Meta might be a name I may want to look at. Okay, outside of earnings and other news, right? I'm a momentum trader. I'm not a momentum trader. I am a trader of whatever the markets give me. I can trade small caps, mid caps, large caps, short, options. I can buy the stock itself, whatever, right? It's just, there's not one trading style that I can do. I can do them all. That makes me versatile to market cycles, okay? As long as I can correctly locate where are the buyers, where are the sellers. What's the trend? Am I fighting the trend? Is it a trend reversal? Is it a trend continuation? Is that breakout with an increase in volume? Is that pullback on the hold? Chances are it might. Okay? Keeping it simple. I love you guys. I urge you guys, please subscribe. Please. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers because I know there's somebody that's out there that would love to be on the stream right now asking questions, and just taking advantage of what I'm here doing. You guys have a great night, bright and early. Get your butt in here. 7:30 a.m. We're going to go over the watch list for the day. We're going to cover the news. Where do we want to trade? Where do we want to be? Chances are we're going to be looking at Walmart and Home Depot. Okay, WMT, they report earnings tomorrow. They're pulling back up the stop split. I posted this earlier, HD. HD's putting in a trend. All right, it's kind of putting in an ascending wedge, which is kind of a trend reversal. But I want you guys to see something here. All right, here's what I want you to see. And is this the market telling us that Home Depot might have good earnings tomorrow or raise guidance? Look at the break. See this resistance level up here? Look at all that resistance at 400, what is that? 340? 340. Look at that. Bang, 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 right? Can't get through it. Finally does. And what's it do? Look at that volume that came in there on the day. Second point. Look at the volume here. Look at that volume there. You know what that volume is? That volume is the pullback and hold of that. Because when you have an increase in volume through a major level there and you pull back with low volume and bang, chances are this is the probability game, guys. What is the probability that 340 level is going to hold? And how many times was it resistance? That's also something you could take in. 1, 2, 3, and what? The fourth time it breaks out. You guys heard me say it, the third to fourth time. The fourth time, usually you have like a 3 up and out is what it's called, right? Goes up into it, goes up into it, goes up into it. Then that fourth time, it usually will break. Not all the time. That's not something I would hang your hat on. But more oftentimes than not, you'll see 3 times it hits the level. That fourth time is when it really breaks it. But look at the pullback, right? Very low volume, okay? You have a low volume pullback. Look at that. Look at that decreasing volume on the way down to the level. And then off of the level, you got an increase in volume off of that level. All right. Does that mean that level is solidified? We have the 50-day moving average right here. Do we pull back and hold the 50 and try again higher? Or do we sit in a consolidation? We'll have to see. I'm just wondering if the market's telling us anything about Home Depot. All right. And they report tomorrow morning with Walmart. Okay. They report with Walmart tomorrow morning. What's up, Chris? I hope you had a great weekend, man. I'm really happy we all got to eat Friday. It was awesome. It was awesome. I'm glad, you know what I mean? AMD, 380. We said it. 380. We're short. You know what I mean? As soon as AMD gave me 380, I'm like, bang, let's get it. I seen that volume start to come in there. It's a great day Friday, and I was tired. I was thankful that we ended the week early. At least I was able to. So we're getting back on track, right? I'm getting back on track here. I think my next trade, I'll be green on the month now. You guys see how quickly and easy that can be turned around? If we can stick to the right things. That's about all I got. You guys have a great night. I'll see you guys bright and early unless you guys have any questions or like tickers, thoughts. Moderna also does report. We missed this trade. Look at this trade here on Moderna. And you know what? I can tell you right now, this probably paid a lot of money. Look at that break of the 50-day there. We were short, not this day. I think we were short on that break right there. I can't remember. I think we were short on this break here.
I was short on the gap down though. So I can't remember where. I had a 225% gain on Moderna. I'm trying to think of where the heck it was. I can't remember where it was. I think it was, yeah, I think it was here. I think because it broke 100 and I got short on the break of 100 and we came in with the gap down and it gave us the continuation from 100 down here to 95. That's what it was. It was to 95. That's right. So look here though. It held the 50-day. It broke it. Now it's trying to turn 90 into resistance. And what do you have there? And what do you have? You have the 100-day moving average there. So we'll see. Moderna has earnings this week. We'll see how they perform or what happens. It was. I was really happy. We will. And that's the other part that I wanted to say, guys. As we go into this week and help remind me, I'm going to write it down. Let's not trade just to trade. Let's wait for these prices at whatever setups we see. Unless you're playing like earnings plays and stuff. I play the day after, but wait for that sweet spot, right? If we're waiting for AMD or, whatever it is that we're looking at, I'll just throw up AMD. Like, if AMD is just sitting here, let's make sure we have a reason to trade it, right? If it's not sitting up here at 174.50 and it's rejecting, then maybe we take that short. But we got to remember, there's a lot of chop in here. Like, you can go from 174.50 down to 172. And at 172, that's a $2.50 move. That's not much. Once you get there, there's a lot of chop. So that AMD is not going to move. We got to wait for AMD to get down to 164, 165, or have it up at 180 before we trade it. That's my opinion. And the reason my opinion there is look at all this chop here. Look at all that chop right there. So that's telling me that if AMD gets below 172, that it's going to have a whole bunch of little minor levels where it kind of just goes up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And it's not giving you that continuation to the downside or upside. You had it back here. You had it right there. Why did you have it right there? Because you didn't have anything to the left of you to stop you from 166 to 174 or 175. 174.50. You see what I'm saying now? But after that down move, see, the coast was clear then, right? But now you have, look at this. Look, support, resistance, right? Support, resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance, support. You know what I mean? Like this whole area here at 169, it's like, ugh, it's a little ugly. So I don't want it. I don't want that. All right. And you sensed it Friday as the market kept going lower that AMD just stopped. It got down into this price level and look, it just stopped. It stopped moving on you. You had that trend right bright and early in the morning and then that was it. Right? Look at this. Look at the chop. Up, down, up, down. You can play these little levels if you want to scalp. And even look here, right? Look at that. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. But it's not moving. That's like $1. That's like 89. It's like 75 to $1.50 movement. We don't want that. We want clear momentum, baby. I love you guys. Please, if you could, share this with someone. A random email. I don't care. Subscribe. Hit that like button. I'm going to see you guys bright and early. We're going to look to have a good week. We're going to put our trades on that are planned in advance. We get to those levels. We get long and short. I am not going to rush this week because I'm going to make this week good. Are you? Are you going to make this week a good one? Cool. How are you going to do it? Identify how you're going to do it and stick to the plan. Let's just say for some odd reason, I start trading Meta. All right, what am I doing? What I'm going to do with Meta? What I'm going to do? All right, nope, that's not even a good example. I don't even want to use that example because that's not its setup. There's not a pattern there for Meta. It's consolidating right now. If you want to play the high and low of that consolidation, more power to you. You know what I'd rather have? I'd rather have this big-ass bull flag right here on Netflix, all right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say I am not going long until Netflix is at 579 to 575. All right? I will not be long that name. If we cannot break 179, what is that, 180? It's 179. 179 cannot break, and we just consolidate right there, low volume, then I'm going to look for the breakout. Because I'm going to know quick at 179 if I'm wrong. Okay, then maybe I get the chance to jump back in at 575. Or maybe I give it that room. But again, if 575 does not hold, that pullback is way too much for me. I'm flipping short. At least that doesn't mean I'm going to trade it short. I'm going to say I'm flipping to the short side. I want to see if that bounce back gets met with selling pressure at 575. Because if you pull back again to 568.50, 569, 570, it feels like that upside move, you've taken back almost 100% of it. And that's not profit taking. That's sellers stepping in and buyers that are selling. Do you guys see what I'm saying? Anything on Netflix, for me personally, it's not financial advice. 580 to 575, I am long. Anything at or below 569, 570, I am short. Okay, 570, a pullback to 570, 569 is way too much. I'm flipping the script. And we break that level, all right, I will look to get short, and I know I should have room back down to 555. That's a $15 move. That's almost a 3-to-1. That's a 3-to-1, guys. That's $15, and I'm going to risk 3. If that. I might risk like $253. I'll give it some room. You see what I'm saying? That's how your account grows. And I'm telling you, you guys can blast your accounts if you do it correctly. Learn how to identify where you should be. This is a setup here, right? If you're looking at Meta right now, and if there's not news, an upgrade, a downgrade, or news or a technical setup, you kind of shouldn't be looking at it. I mean, you should keep it on your radar, okay? And understand, okay, we're consolidating right now. I'll look for Meta. I'll set a trigger at 553, 554 area to see if we hold. And maybe you can look for that, 454, 452 to 480. That's a decent move. Okay? 453 to 480. That's where I want to be long. I want to be long that move, and I want to be short that move. Or look for the break. Listen, this could be a trade. It's not there just yet. You start getting an increase in volume, which you did. You kind of got it, but you didn't because you had a lot of volume Thursday. If Meta breaks if Meta breaks 453, it might be game on, guys. 450 to 453. If Meta breaks, you ain't got nothing stopping you to 400. That's a $50 move. Think about the bills and the steaks you could eat with that. Think about the people in the line that you could feed with that. I don't want to make this too long. I really do appreciate all of you guys. I urge you, hit the like button, subscribe. Sorry that I had to say that a lot. But I love you guys. I will see you guys in the morning. And, I applaud you guys for just, playing the game and trying to do better for yourself. I really do. There's people out here that aren't doing it. Okay? There's people out here that are living a sad, miserable life. And, say a prayer for them. All right? Maybe they just don't know about things like this. Whatever it is. Okay? But guess what? We're here. We're using all the tools at our disposal to get us where we want. The market's just one of them. Guys, have a great night. I'll see you guys bright and early right here, guys. Thank you all for joining me. Thumb up, subscribe, show some love. Comment down below. Some stocks you're looking at, whatever. Comment down below. What are you struggling with? Let me know. I'm going to read them, and I'm going to help you. All right? If you're not struggling, just say what's up. Something. I don't care. Guys, have a great night. I see you guys early in the morning.